Ciao a tutti e benvenuti in questa nuova live di Data Masters. Per chi non mi conoscesse, sono Giuseppe Mastrandrea, lead teacher di Data Masters. E come sapete, Data Masters è un ecosistema per generare e coltivare il talento in ambito AI e data science, da un lato. È la prima academy italiana con corsi dedicati sia a chi vuole muovere i primi passi nel mondo della data science, dell'intelligenza artificiale, sia ovviamente per chi vuole diventare un vero e proprio esperto di machine learning. In descrizione sotto questo video trovate i link a tutti i nostri corsi, inclusi quelli che sono attualmente in promozione. Dicevo che da un lato siamo un AI Academy, dall'altro siamo anche orgogliosi di essere una grandissima community dove appassionati di intelligenza artificiale, professionisti del machine learning, professionisti della data science possono condividere esperienze, contaminare le proprie idee, fare networking e condividere anche le proprie competenze nell'ottica della crescita insieme della comunità intera. Ed è proprio per tutta la nostra community e per tutti gli appassionati del mondo dei dati e dell'intelligenza artificiale che sostanzialmente ormai ogni settimana nelle nostre live, sui nostri canali social facciamo davvero tanta divulgazione sui temi più attuali, sempre negli ambiti di cui ci occupiamo ovviamente, e in cui parliamo di tutte le novità del mondo AI, intervistiamo chi questo lavoro lo fa tutti i giorni e quindi lo può vivere, lo vive dal di dentro, dall'interno. Se vi piacciono i nostri contenuti, se apprezzate il nostro impegno nella divulgazione di questi temi, come sempre vi invito a iscrivervi al nostro canale se non lo avete ancora fatto, attivando anche la campanellina delle notifiche, e vi invito anche a mettere un grande like a questo video. Per voi non costa nulla, ma per noi è un grandissimo gesto che ci aiuta a continuare tutto il nostro lavoro di divulgazione. Ora, prima di introdurre l'ospite di questa diretta, che non vedo l'ora davvero di presentarvi, è davvero un profilo di eccezione, di altissimo livello, e prima di approfondire anche insieme tutta la famiglia di modelli di intelligenza artificiale generativa Gemma, modelli creati a partire dalla stessa ricerca e tecnologia utilizzata da Google per creare Gemini, è fondamentale introdurvi a uno degli sviluppi più rivoluzionari e più recenti in ambito intelligenza artificiale, e cioè parlo delle cosiddette agentic applications. Queste applicazioni non solo rispondono alle nostre richieste e necessità, ma agiscono anche in maniera del tutto autonoma per eseguire task complessi e sono in grado di automatizzare e ottimizzare una serie di processi anche aziendali, possono in generale eseguire, verificare e automatizzare task a diverse complessità. La cosa interessante, la cosa rivoluzionaria è che le regole con cui questi task sono risolti e automatizzati sono fornite da noi in linguaggio naturale. Com'è possibile tutto questo? Grazie a 2 tecnologie fondamentali, prima di tutto la RAG, a cui peraltro abbiamo già dedicato più di una live, che è una delle forme più avanzate di applicazioni della generative AI. RAG sta per Retrieval Augmented Generation e combina il recupero di informazioni da più fonti, che siano sia interne sia esterne, quindi anche dal web per esempio, combina, dicevo, il recupero di queste informazioni alla generazione del testo, quindi alla generazione degli output. Questa combinazione permette alla RAG di essere una tecnica in grado di fornire risposte accurate e pertinenti dal punto di vista proprio contestuale rispetto a modelli che invece si basano su una sola di queste 2 tecnologie. L'altro tassello che è fondamentale per la creazione di questi agentic application è l'Unchain. L'Unchain oggi è il framework più potente e versatile e anche integrabile, aggiungo, per orchestrare LLM e per creare applicazioni basate su LLM, e in generale è anche il più utilizzato per costruire agenti complessi di intelligenza artificiale. Abbiamo una serie di connettori verso una marea di servizi grazie ai quali possiamo integrare tutte le nostre applicazioni sostanzialmente con tutte le piattaforme, con qualsiasi piattaforma, e questo rende ovviamente i nostri agenti intelligenti, li porta a un grado di versatilità che era impensabile fino a pochi mesi fa. E dato che noi di Datamaster siamo sempre all'avanguardia e vogliamo sempre condividere con la nostra community tutti gli aggiornamenti tecnologici più recenti e le innovazioni più promettenti, abbiamo anche progettato una nuova Masterclass interamente dedicata a queste tecnologie. Abbiamo quindi la Masterclass RAG ed LLM con l'Unchain, durante la quale in 5 sessioni completamente dal vivo, quindi completamente in sincrono, imparerete a customizzare utilizzare completamente questi agenti intelligenti con l'obiettivo di creare e orchestrare, gli LLM all'interno di, applicazioni agentic applications. Quando parliamo di LLM parliamo dei più potenti large language models ad oggi, al momento disponibili, ovviamente parliamo di modelli come Llama, ChatGPT, Gemma, che vedremo oggi, di cui parleremo fra poco, Fit3 e tutti gli LLM open source che ci consentono di automatizzare processi grazie all'intelligenza artificiale. Imparerete durante questa masterclass a eseguire progetti in locale utilizzando i migliori LLM sui vostri dati. Questo ovviamente significa che abbiamo il controllo totale e anche la sicurezza assoluta dei nostri dati, che non devono neanche necessariamente uscire dalle nostre macchine. E inoltre, fra le altre cose, imparerete a fare RAG su una qualsiasi tipologia di documento, file, database, sistema informativo in generale, visto che nel corso verranno coperti anche argomenti come modelli di embedding, modelli linguistici in locale, fine tuning di modelli, prompt engineering avanzato dal punto di vista degli sviluppatori, inclusi per esempio prompt dinamici che si autocostruiscono con conoscenze esterne, con una conoscenza esterna. E insomma, stiamo andando a fare questa masterclass in cui parleremo dell'applicazione AI che potenzialmente può avere un impatto più grande e immediato nelle aziende. Grazie all'Unchain questa cosa è accessibile a tutti. Andiamo a vedere molto, rapidamente di che cosa poi andremo a parlare in questo programma, in questo corso. Sicuramente è ovvio che dovremo esplorare i fondamenti teorici degli LLM, le applicazioni, di questi LLM, quindi parleremo dei modelli linguistici di OpenAI, di Google, di Microsoft, parleremo dei modelli open source, e parleremo di che significa utilizzare questi modelli. Quindi andremo a parlare degli embedding, come avevo detto prima, spazi latenti, fine tuning di modelli, prima poi di dedicarci al framework che per eccellenza ci consente di creare queste applicazioni, che è l'Unchain. Impareremo quindi a sfruttare l'Unchain, a integrarlo nei nostri flussi, nelle nostre applicazioni, con l'obiettivo di creare e orchestrare modelli linguistici e applicazioni basate su modelli linguistici. L'Unchain, partiremo ovviamente dalla definizione della catena, dalla chain da cui l'Unchain prende il nome. Faremo prompt engineering prima di base, poi avanzato, prompt templating, utilizzeremo vari tipi di memoria conversazionale all'interno di l'Unchain e infine ci dedicheremo alla creazione di agenti. Con l'Unchain, dopo l'introduzione all'Unchain, andremo a studiare invece come è possibile fare RAG su qualsiasi tipo di documento, come abbiamo accennato prima, qualsiasi tipo di sistema informativo, database, eccetera, eccetera. Dopodiché andremo a parlare delle cosiddette agentic application, cioè creeremo agenti intelligenti che siano in grado di spacchettare, di spezzettare task complessi, eseguire i singoli processi, i singoli passi di questi task complessi e verificare soprattutto che questi processi siano andati a buon fine in maniera totalmente automatizzata e, ripeto, soprattutto seguendo le regole scritte in linguaggio naturale da noi. Andremo a studiare i tool di LangChain, integrare con API esterne, andremo poi a creare i veri e propri agenti, fino ad arrivare allo studio di LangSmith e di LangGraph, che sono gli altri due componenti principali di LangChain, dedicati al deploy e al testing dei modelli e delle agentic application. Infine arriverà il momento di dare spazio a casi d'uso provenienti dal mondo reale e ovviamente il nostro approccio hands-on non ci obbliga a esaminare queste applicazioni reali, quindi andremo a creare dei chatbot conversazionali con memoria, che lavorino anche su dati proprietari, andremo a fare dei bot che parlino con dati esterni, con data frame, con CSV, che applichino anche tecniche di prompting avanzato, come chain of odds, tree of odds, e andremo anche a utilizzare modelli in locale. Quindi, ricapitolando, se volete realmente rivoluzionare tutto il vostro business, tutto il vostro lavoro grazie alle AI e alle agentic applications, qui sotto trovate in descrizione il link per entrare nella waiting list e assicurarvi l'accesso a questa masterclass al prezzo più basso. Partirà questa masterclass nelle prossime settimane, a giugno, e per il momento ci sono solo 20 posti disponibili. A questo punto non mi resta che presentare il nostro ospite di oggi e lo presento davvero con grandissimo piacere. È un grandissimo professionista, sono davvero onorato di condividere questa live con lui. Vi presento Glenn Cameron. Hi Glenn, thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the Data Masters YouTube channel.
Hey, thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Perfect. Glenn, before we dive into the discussion, could you tell a bit about your background, your career journey? I think that our audience is very interested into knowing what led you to your current role and involvement with Google Gemma.
Sure. So when I was an undergrad in college, I had a business that I ran with a close friend. And eventually I got an MBA and got recruited to go to Samsung, where I got into something called developer marketing. And I remember my first day at Samsung, I went to a meetup at Intel, and they were talking about SDKs and things. I didn't know what they were talking about. So for me, like, I always want to be really good at whatever I do, and I knew that to be good at this, I need to understand programming well. So I ended up getting a master's in AI, and so now I'm very proficient in that. And so I worked at Samsung, helped build their first developer conference. Then I went to Amazon Alexa for the first 3 years of that, and then I got recruited by Google. I've worked here for around 6 years now, and currently I'm working on our open models. So Gemma is our open models.
Okay, perfect. Which are kind of sort of revolution in the Google environment, these open models. To kick things off, can you provide us with an overview of Google Gemma and explain what distinguishes it from the other AI models that are available on the market today?
Sure. So Gemma are our family of open models. They're built on the same research and technology that Gemini was built with. So the teams are very close. And for example, the tokenizer for Gemma is the same tokenizer used with Gemini. And so you're seeing bits of the Gemini technology getting opened up via Gemma.
Okay. And Google has a long story of successes, even in the AI field. How does Gemma build upon the success and learnings from Google's previous AI models, like the Gemini series, beside the tokenizer that is basically the same as you just told us?
Well, the team has all kinds of research they've done. Like, Google has a really long history of investing in AI and open sourcing different AI things. For example, the Transformers paper was released by Google, and that technology is foundational to all of the top models you're seeing nowadays. And there's BERT. There's been a series of many open models over years, and all of this stuff is just building on top of it, getting better and better, every month nowadays.
Okay, perfect. And looking in the future instead, is there a broader strategy for the AI development and deployment in Google following the Gemma release? What can you say if there is something that you cannot say? Okay.
Google really wants to make AI helpful for everyone. So that's why we're kind of opening these models up. We're giving them away with a commercial-friendly license so people can use them in their businesses. We're making them in lightweight sizes that are actually made for developers. Like, if you were to get a 400 billion parameter model, you couldn't use it unless you had a cluster of GPUs, and generally people don't have that. And so we make these things at a certain size. For example, the first Gemma models released, they came in 2 billion parameters and 7 billion parameters. That 2 billion parameter model you can run locally on a mobile phone. So you can do your LLM stuff on your phone, and no data has to leave. And then the 7 billion parameter model, you can run that on one of your gaming GPUs. And so these things are made so you can easily run them, easily deploy them. We also make them to be fine-tuned. So Gemma currently has we launched Gemma only 3 months ago, and there are already several models we've launched. So Gemma 1 I told you about. We've also launched Code Gemma. Code Gemma is a Gemma variant that's specialized to generate code or chat with code, chat with a model about code. Then there's Poly Gemma, PolyGemma is based off our pathways technology. And essentially, this is a language vision model. So it can understand images. It can do like a really wide range of tasks. Like you can fine tune it to caption videos. You can basically anything that involves images or frames of videos and language. You can fine tune for this to understand it. So whatever use case you have, you can do it. Then there's recurrent Gemma, which is kind of like Mamba. It's kind of a unique architecture. It allows for really fast, kind of high throughput inference. So if you want to like generate a ton of text, it can do that a lot faster.
Okay, I have to confess that the first time I tried to use Gemma on my laptop, I was very happy because at last I found a model that I could run on my data on my laptop without giving my data away. Who knows where? Who knows to who? And the accessibility matter is what really makes these kind of models have a boost. Instead of other external models that you can use via API. So I'm very, very happy that we have a well-working model, and that we have a so broad family of models that we can use for the most different tasks. I'm very happy to hear from you that we have so many diversity in the offer that Gemma has for developers. But no spoiler, we have to wait a couple of minutes before we can see something more crunchy. So one of the major concerns in using LLMs and open source LLMs is addressing the AI ethics and biases. Is there a way Gemma can handle these issues, especially given its open access nature?
Yeah. So that's something we take very seriously here. And one of the ways we address that is that our data sets that the model gets pre-trained on are curated to ensure they don't contain like a lot of toxic content. We also, provide a responsible generative AI toolkit with Gemma. So you can take that, you can use it to monitor your inputs, monitor your outputs. There's lots of different tools there. So you can ensure that, you're fine-tuning safer models, you're deploying safer models. That way your business and your reputation can be intact.
Okay, and that's the topic of the year, in my opinion. Now we have this kind of models. They can generate content, and but still we have some issues related to biases. And I'm very happy we have a toolkit that users can follow to mitigate these problems. And speaking about tools and toolkits, are there any resources and support that Google provides to developers that want to adopt Gemma in their applications?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of different tools we offer. So Google offers Keras, which is like a high-level framework for machine learning. And Keras 3 can actually run multiple backends. So you can choose if you want to use a PyTorch backend, you can. If you want to use JAX, you can. If you want to use TensorFlow, you can. So that's a really nice tool. We also have MediaPipe, which is for on-device like machine learning models. So that's when I mentioned that 2 billion parameter model running on a phone. That's what you use to do that. We have Google Colab, which are notebooks that you can run Python in. You can access GPUs. You can access TPUs for free. So those are wonderful if you want to start testing. We also have Kaggle, really large community of machine learning and data scientists, engineers. And Kaggle has a lot of competitions. So if you want to level up in your machine learning skills, you can enter a competition. You can see how you rank against the others, like trying to get a high score or high accuracy in your models. That also has notebooks. And then, you can grab models from there. There's data sets there. So we have just like pretty much anything you want. There's also Google Cloud. So we have Google Cloud credits for people that want to get started with that. And then we have a research credits program. So if you're doing research with PolyGemma, you can apply for credits to get more GPU power.
Okay, perfect. Well, Colab, Kaggle, and Keras are tools that our students know very well. We use them in our courses, so yeah, they know what we are talking about, and we're very happy to hear that these are the tools that Google uses the most and provides the most for the use by developers. Speaking about developers and products by developers, could you share a few examples of how developers successfully implemented Gemma in their projects?
Sure. So Gemma's only been out for about 3 months, actually. And we already announced the second one. So the second one's, it's incredible. That's coming out very soon. So very excited about that. Do you mind if I show a video to show you what some people have built in that short amount of time?
Yes, of course you can. Okay, there you go.
Language is a very interesting problem to solve, actually. And given India has a huge variety of languages and it changes every 5 kilometers.
When technology is developed for a particular culture, it won't be able to solve and understand the nuances of a country like India. One of Gemma's features is an incredibly powerful tokenizer, which enables the model to use hundreds of thousands of words, symbols, and characters across so many alphabets and language systems. This large vocabulary is critical to adapting Gemma to power projects like Navrasa.
Navrasa is a model that's trained for Indic languages. It's a fine-tuned model based on Google's Gemma. We built Navrasa to make large language models culturally rooted, where people can talk in their native language and get the responses in their native language. Our biggest dream is to build a model to include everyone from all corners of India.
तो हमें AI को यूज करके एक ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी चाहिए कि कोई भी पीछे ना रहे और हर कोई इसको यूज कर सके.
Today, the language that you speak in could be the tool and the technology that you use for solving your real-world problems. And that's the power of generative AI that we want to bring to every corner of India and the entire world.
Okay, perfect. So the topic here is accessibility. Everyone can access these models, and everyone can build on the top of these models any kind of application, don't you think?
Yeah, and also, the Gemma model was trained in English, but you see how it can pick up Indian languages relatively easy compared to other models. It's very good at those kind of things. I think for people in Italy, it might be interesting to fine tune as well for different types.
Yeah, of course. Okay, Glenn. So, do you have possibly a demo of something that you can show to us and to our students?
Yeah, I have another tab open here.
Okay.
Fire it up. So yeah, so this is Google Colab. I'm going to switch to a more powerful GPU real fast. All right, so this is a PolyGemma notebook. PolyGemma came out just a couple weeks ago. I'm going to install Keras NLP. And this part might take a moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is a notebook about PolyGemma. I mentioned that it can do a lot of things out of the box, which I'm going to show you. But really, what PolyGemma was made for is fine tuning. So if you have any language vision ideas, PolyGemma will probably be really good for teaching how to do that thing.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Okay, there we go.
So here, just installing Keras and Keras NLP. Now I'm going to import my Kaggle username and key, because that is where the model is stored, and that is where we're going to get some of our data. And so the keys are stored here in Colab. So you can store your keys, and that way, if you share a notebook, you don't share your API keys, which is nice.
Okay, what it installs the libraries? Are there any future releases that you can share with us of these models?
The Gemma 2 release is coming soon. It's really great. It's made with the same principles for being accessible. It's really an incredible model. So I think you're going to be thrilled by how good this model is. And like I said, it's coming out very soon. We announced at Google I/O, and we said it's coming out in June. So
okay, in June, perfect.
Pretty
so
soon. Yeah, we're just polishing it right now. So all right, so now I've said all that stuff. Now I'm going to actually download the PolyGemma model. It's only a 3B model. That's because 2B is the Gemma model, and then another B is the Vision one.
Okay.
All right, and
so they are small models, and we can do almost anything with these models, and that's astonishing.
Yeah, you can fine tune it to do whatever you want, and it's pretty cool. You're going to see here in a second how it works. So now I'm going to just get these resize and pad the images, and just prepare these images, and then I'm going to grab one from the cloud. It's just this. It takes a while to download the model.
Yeah, of course.
But it's pretty neat. Keras is interesting because Keras started as a multi-backend thing. It started a while ago. It used Theano, which was a machine learning framework, and TensorFlow. Then it went fully TensorFlow, and now it come into to use multi-backend again. And then something interesting about it is JAX. JAX is a really advanced machine learning framework that's used by all of our researchers at Google DeepMind. So every Google model you see coming out of DeepMind is trained with JAX. It's really great for research.
Yeah,
it can be kind of difficult to use if you're not like a scientist, but it's pretty amazing if you can get your head wrapped around it.
And what kind of industries, in your opinion, or sectors do you think will benefit the most from Gemma and this family of models, and why?
I think that if you have a small specialized task, that open models are really great for you. And also, as you mentioned earlier, the privacy, being able to own your weights, take them wherever you want to go with them, make sure they're never changing. There's a lot of benefit to having open models. So I think that anyone that finds those things interesting will be happy with it. I have a meeting happening.
Okay.
Sorry. Something popped up on my screen. But yeah, I think basically I don't think it's industry specific. I think it's anyone that has a task that they think AI can help them with. I think it'll be helpful for.
Okay. And what do you think about LangChain? Did you ever use this framework?
Yeah, let me jump into here while we're waiting for that download. So this is the Gemma web page.
Okay.
It has the variants, and then we have these quick start guides. We have partner guides here. So we have a quick start with LangChain, NVIDIA, Hugging Face, you can use it with all this stuff. And if you go on Kaggle, we had a competition where people made Gemma notebooks, and there's actually notebooks on how to make agents with Gemma, which is pretty cool. So you can make agents that do neat things.
Yeah, it is a very cool thing. We can do almost anything with this kind of tools. And you were mentioning before that fine-tuning is the preferred way to use this kind of models across different languages. Are there any other methods that you advise to use?
Yeah, I heard you talking about RAG earlier, so you can use RAG for different things. I think agents are really cool with local models because it can run really fast, and there's no API limits. So you can have the models you can set up a multi-agent model where each agent is told to role play a specific role. For example, you could have one maybe doing your social media analytics, and you can give it access to browse the web, and then you can have a web browsing researching agent. You can have a writing agent. You can have an analytic agent, and they can kind of work together to output really interesting output. So that's a few things I think is neat. But while I'm waiting for this to download, do you want me to share with you this other cool thing I'm working on?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So I'm also working on this Gemini API developer competition. Gemini is really amazing because it has a 2 million token context window, which is like insane how long that is. Natively multimodal, so you can give it videos, it'll understand the videos. You can give it audio, you can give it PDFs, you can give it whatever you want, and it'll take that data in. So we're having this competition right now. I think that this fellow can explain it better than me. So do you mind if I share this video real fast?
Best testimonial ever. It is always a blow to the heart to see Doc from Back to the Future. Okay, so perfect choice for me.
Thank you. And that's actually my code on his screen as well.
Okay.
And it was a multi-agent. It was one of those multi-agent things I talked about. So this competition, the grand prize is actually a custom electric DeLorean.
Wow.
So we got a 1980 DeLorean. We took the engine out. We put a Tesla Model 3 performance engine, and now it actually is the fastest DeLorean ever in history. It's really, really awesome car. And it's so quiet when you drive it. It's really cool.
I want it so bad. It's incredible. I want it so bad.
There's also a lot of cash prizes. So the goal of this competition, we want people to use Gemini to make the world a better place. So the most impactful app is the one that does that. And this is our highest cash prize. We also have one for like the most useful. So apps that people are using on a regular basis, or it doesn't have to be an app, actually could be anything, or something creative. And then we have additional categories for other Google technology. So if you use Flutter with Gemini, you can get a prize. If you use Android with Gemini, you can win a prize. And the person who gets like the best overall of these three actually wins this car. And then finally, we have a People's Choice Award, where you'll be able to vote on like what your favorite is, and they'll get this cool trophy at the end of it. So, all right, we've downloaded the model.
Okay, perfect.
And loaded this image. So now we're going to, so one of the benefits of the API is you don't have to wait for the model to download, but let's show you this. So here we're going to give it the image, and we're going to say the prompt is describe the image.
Okay, perfect.
So we have this image. It's saying, takes a minute to fire up. I haven't tested this on the A100, so let's see how. Should be going a lot faster. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
So tulips in the park. So it seems pretty accurate. So that is, remember, this is all one model. So it has described the image. Now we're going to ask it questions about it. So what color are the flowers? It says the colors are red and yellow. So that actually ran really fast. That's how it's supposed to.
Yeah.
So yeah, the flowers are red and yellow. Now we're going to say, let's see what we got here. The prompt is, what is the name of this flower? Actually, I can't answer that. So it's a tulip.
The tulips. Wow.
That's right. And now we can, the same model now is going to do object detection. So we're going to have it, give it a different prompt. It's going to be, well, first we're going to load a different image here. And this is an image of a train. And then we're going to give a new prompt, or say detect train. And it gave us this output. Now, if we process that and show it on an image, we can see that it drew a bounding box for this train.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool that the model is both capturing the image and drawing bounding boxes around it. We can also do optical character recognition. So now we're just going to load a different image. This is a book that has a monster called Pip written on it. And we're going to give it a prompt. Just the prompt is OCR. And it says a monster called Pip. So
Perfect. Perfect.
And then it can actually handle multiple texts. So we're going to get a different book here. So the Dune book, you can see it has like the title, it has the author, it has this. And we're going to, you can see that it said that. So the prompt was OCR again, and it gave us the whole thing broken out into different paragraphs. So you can see it does really cool stuff. This is just a sample. But as I said, it's like actually meant to fine tune. So you can fine tune any kind of like thing that involves an image and text. You can teach it relatively easy. We have notebooks to make that really easy.
Wow, amazing. So we're talking about a model with an extraordinary versatility. Will this be the future of LLM's application, in your opinion?
I think there will be, I think there's definitely a future for open LLMs, and I think there's a future for kind of large cloud-based LLMs as well. With the local kind of smaller LLMs, you can do like very kind of small tasks. With the big models, you can do kind of everything. So I think we're going to see them go both ways in the future.
Okay, fantastic. So if you agree, I will go with some questions from our students.
Sure.
And I will hear Marco Sarti. Hi, Marco. Is it possible to use this LLM with an embedded system, or does it still require a lot of computing resources?
So our 2 billion parameter model, yes, you can use with an embedded system. Unless you're talking about like an Arduino, but like a mobile phone kind of system, you can use it with that via media pipe.
Okay, perfect. Again, Marco Sarti. Which sector do you see as the least affected by generative technologies?
I think things that involve people moving and doing things, like estheticians who do like skincare, things like that. Things that involve physical labor are not affected right now. And,
Okay.
I even think like for me, I use generative AI to make me much better at my job. Right, so I can do way more work. For example, like when I was making that video I showed you earlier, the one in India, I had a very short amount of time to read 114 pages of text, and I had to like figure out how to piece this video together. So basically, we go to India, shoot a bunch of film, then we have the transcripts. It's 114 pages transcripts. I gave Gemini 1.5 Pro those 114 pages. I gave it the video as well and had it watch the video. I said, and I asked it questions. We had like a conversation back and forth and came up with a really good script for it. And I did that in about an hour. It would have taken me like a week to do that without generative AI. So I think it can actually make people a lot better at their jobs. I don't think it's like, I think it's going to affect things in a positive way if you think about it from that perspective.
Okay. And I totally agree. We must see this generative technology as support to our work. I don't think that there will be much jobs totally replaced by generative AI and generative models. I think that the workers would be replaced by guys who know how to use those technology. Don't you think?
I think it's going to make us way more productive, and I think it's going to create new jobs. So I think that one person will be able to do a lot more, and we're going to have a lot more output as a species. And I think that's generally what happens. Like in these kind of like in the Industrial Revolution, people worry about the same thing.
Yeah.
It just actually created new jobs.
Yeah. I totally agree. And according to you, what are the first steps that someone that is interested into that kind of technologies do to become an expert in using this stuff?
Well, I think reading about prompting would be helpful. So learning like what prompting is, how you can prompt models to do different things. I think that'd be like the kind of step 0 to understand this stuff. And that takes no technical abilities whatsoever. The next thing, if you want to like fine tune models, I suggest learning Python, because that's kind of become the language of machine learning. And then I'd learn how to fine tune models to whatever task you want.
Okay, perfect. I'm very curious if you agree with me. I don't think it will be there will ever be a prompt engineer figure position. I think that prompt engineering is the right skill that people should learn, but I don't think it will ever exist, a prompt engineer. Do you agree with this statement?
I think it's a weird title. I think engineering in that is a weird title. I think that like today, like AI is very early. It reminds me of like the early days of the web when you had to wait like 10 minutes for a JPEG to load. It's like it's very early. I think that prompting is more of a bug, right? It's more of like a symptom of it not being able to understand what you want to do yet.
Yeah.
And so I think that will eventually go away. And it'll better understand what you're asking it to do without you having to hack it in a way to do how you want. So I mean, I think that's not where I'm going to invest my time. But, I do think it's good to understand that, like, because you can kind of understand like how they're working. Anyway.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Andrea, as a Google AI developer, how much is TensorFlow used as a framework in building models like Gemma?
So actually, JAX is another framework from Google Research aimed at researchers, and that is what's used for training those models. TensorFlow is more used for production use cases. So you're going to see like TensorFlow Lite, for example, used for those mobile inference use cases. So TensorFlow Lite also like works with multiple backends, and you can use that to run models on things.
Okay, thank you. Francesco, our CEO, how does Google Gemma handle continuous learning and adaptation to new data without compromising performance?
That's going to be on the developer to handle. So, when you're training your models, you need to kind of monitor monitor its quality. So it's not like Gemma handles it really. It's like a task on the machine learning engineer who's tuning it to do what they want. I think is that what you meant by that?
I think so. So it's your fault, Francesco. Antonio Pinelli, how does Gemma LLM ensure the privacy and security of user data, particularly when generating personalized responses or handling sensitive information? Well,
yeah. So Gemma, you can run it on your own computer. It doesn't require it requires an internet connection to download it. Then you have it. It's yours. You control where the data goes. So that's also kind of in your hands. That's one of the nice things about open models is that it's all this stuff's in your hands, and so you can do with it what you can make it as secure as you want it to be.
Okay, that was an easy question to answer too. Enzo Maritati, congratulations, you had a very interesting talk. On which domains or tasks have Gemma models proven particularly effective?
Thank you. So it's showing a lot of promise in multilingual applications, as you saw. The PolyGemma models really good, probably the best models at any kind of probably the best open models at any kind of language vision task. So like if you were making, for instance, like a smart microscope, and you needed to like count cells in your petri dish, or you were analyzing like a basketball game, in images that like you could use it for things like that, and it's very good at things like that. And then the Gemma 2 model, it's really good. So that's going to be exciting. It's going to be really exciting to see what people make with that.
We can't wait to use the second version of Gemma. We are very thrilled to use it. Okay, Glenn. So one last question, Marco. What it's like working for Google? Everyone is asking themselves this question.
Google's a great company to work for. They seem like they really care about the employees. They kind of spoil us with things like there's like a gym, and we got like food, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and micro kitchens and barista bars. And Google is the first company I worked at that really seems to generally care about making sure that they're doing good in the world. So that's nice. Google does seem to have a really kind of what they call it googly culture, and the people at Google are so smart. Like, I'm surrounded by some of the most brilliant people I've ever met in my life, and a very high concentration of them. That's kind of the crazy thing. There's a super concentration of them, and they're all very nice. Like there's a very nice culture, so people are very respectful of each other, and it's a nice place to work. I really enjoy it.
It seems a lot of fun, actually. A lot of work, but a lot of fun also. Okay, perfect. So, Glenn, we arrived to the end of this live, and I really want to thank you for your time and for your patience and for the demo that you provided us with. And I will greet now our students in Italian. Do you want to say goodbye to our students?
Sure, yeah. Thank you all so much for having me on your webinar today, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope that you found this helpful. And if you have any questions, you could reach out to me on Twitter. I can help get you answers.
Ok, perfect, thank you. Bene, allora ragazzi, è stato davvero super interessante, super bello ospitare Glenn e vedere le cose fantastiche di cui sono capaci questi modelli open source, che fra l'altro, essendo piccoli, ci girano tranquillamente in locale. Sul mio laptop va a bomba con non solo via codice, ma anche via applicazioni low code, no code, l'MStudio, cose di questo tipo. E a questo punto non mi resta che augurare buona serata a tutti, e ricordarvi che per il nostro corso LLM, RAG LLM Agentic Applications con l'Unchain ci sono solo 20 posti disponibili nella nostra Masterclass, e a questo punto davvero ciao a tutti, grazie a tutti, bye bye Glenn, thank you.